Emily never expected her life to shift on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. She was folding hospital scrubs on her worn-out couch, the soft hum of the dryer in the background, when her phone rang, a number she didn't recognize. The voice belonged to her mother's elderly neighbor, trembling with the weight of bad news. Her mother had passed away, quietly, in her sleep. The next days unfolded in slow motion, choosing flowers, meeting with the funeral home, sorting through boxes of old photographs that smelled like dust and bittersweet memories. But nothing shook her more than what came during the reading of the will. Sitting in a dim office where sunlight streamed through blinds in thin stripes, Emily listened as the attorney slid a white envelope toward her. Inside was a number that felt unreal. Her mother had left her $120,000. For a 36-year-old single mother of 2 girls living on a nurse's salary, constantly juggling past due bills and grocery budgets, the inheritance felt like a miracle, like God had stretched out his hand and given her a lifeline. She walked out of the office stunned, holding the envelope to her chest as if it might disappear. In her car, she broke down, whispering, "Lord, thank you. Maybe things will finally get better." Her first move was responsible. She paid off her debts. Over $15,000 vanished with a few clicks. She felt something inside her loosen, a tightness she had carried for years. Then came the SUV. A shiny white brand-new vehicle that gleamed beneath the dealership's fluorescent lights. She paid $36,000 in cash. As the salesman handed her the keys, she inhaled the warm leather scent and convinced herself it was a symbol of a new beginning. Next, she upgraded their living situation. A 3-bedroom apartment in a quieter neighborhood, with tall windows, clean hallways, and a playground where the girls could finally feel safe. The rent was steep, $2,000 a month, but the space felt hopeful. She bought solid wood furniture, soft rugs, new bedding for the girls, even small decorations that made the apartment feel curated and peaceful. Then came the vacation. Florida, the place she had always dreamed of taking her daughters. They spent a week under bright blue skies, their feet buried in warm sand. They rode roller coasters, ate ice cream that melted too fast, and fell asleep each night exhausted and happy. Emily took pictures of everything: the sunlit pools, the smiles, the memories she desperately wanted to preserve. But little by little, the money thinned. The SUV's insurance was higher than she expected. The apartment required larger utility payments, water, electricity, trash fees. Her daughters now lived among children who took ballet, gymnastics, music lessons, swim teams, activities Emily felt pressured to say yes to. She didn't want her girls to feel less than. And emergencies began showing up: a sudden car repair, a prescription her insurance barely covered, a broken washing machine that flooded the laundry closet. Her monthly expenses were now far beyond her income. She used the inheritance to cover the difference, believing it would last longer than it did. $70,000, $58,000, $41,000, $28,000. A year passed. One evening she logged into her bank account and stared at the shrinking number. Only $25,000 left. Her chest tightened. She scrolled through old statements, trying to piece together where it had all gone. Little purchases, upgrades, gifts, dinners, subscriptions. Nothing big enough to blame. Just life. When the balance finally hit zero, fear wrapped around her like cold water. With bills now $300 higher than her income, she opened a credit card just for emergencies. 6 months later, she owed $10,000 again. One late night, while her apartment slept, she sat at the kitchen table with her laptop glowing in the dark. Tears blurred her vision as she whispered, "God, I messed up. You gave me a blessing, and I didn't know how to handle it. I thought I was doing the right things. Please help me. I don't know how to fix this." The next morning, still exhausted, she walked into her church and asked if there was anyone who could guide her. They pointed her to a financial stewardship ministry, led by Patty, a retired accountant who looked like someone's warm, wise grandmother. In the meeting, Patty asked, "Who here has received unexpected money and watched it vanish because no one ever taught you what to do with it?" Emily felt her throat tighten as she raised her hand. To her surprise, others did too. Patty spoke with gentleness but clarity. After hearing Emily's story, she said, "Sweetheart, you didn't fail. You simply never learned. Most people don't. But God is not done with you. Wisdom often grows from the soil of regret." Together, they created a plan. Emily sold the SUV and bought a used Honda. She downsized to a modest two-bedroom apartment. She cut on necessary expenses, subscriptions, eating out, non-essential purchases. She told her daughters the truth. "Mommy made mistakes, but God is helping us rebuild." There were tears, confusion, and hard conversations, but there was also healing. Each month, something began to change. Emily created an emergency fund. She contributed to her 401k. She invested small, steady amounts in a simple index fund. She learned about stewardship, discipline, contentment, and how God calls His children to manage resources with humility and truth. A year later, she was debt-free again. 2 years later, she had savings. 3 years later, investments. She saw clearly that what looked like failure had actually become her turning point, her refinement. Her daughters matured beautifully. They learned gratitude, responsibility, and the peace that comes from living within one's means. Emily eventually began helping others in the church, sharing her story openly. A blessing without wisdom becomes a burden. But when God breathes wisdom into your mistakes, the burden becomes a testimony. Her inheritance vanished quickly, but what she gained would last a lifetime. Discipline, clarity, contentment, and a deeper walk with God rooted in humility and truth. You just spent 8 minutes for God, 8 minutes to grow in wisdom, faith, and peace. See you tomorrow. Verse for your meditation: "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" Mark 8:36, KJV.